What's up, guys? It's Devin of That Child Gamer. Welcome back to another Doki Doki Summertime video. We are back on Summertime, guys. It's about freaking time. I don't know if there's an update for this game. I don't know. I didn't check. I just played what I have already installed. But it's been a while. It's a month to be exact. So basically, we left off last time where we decided to impress Yuri. And Yuri, didn't like us last time when we impressed Natsuki. So we're going for Yuri this time. As far as I'm aware, I believe we walked home with her for a little bit, and I think that's as far as we left off. So without further ado, I say, let's get back into it. I believe this is the right one, because it's the latest date, so we're gonna go with it. I don't even know what she said, to be completely honest. So do you have hobbies not related to literature? I do, but, well, is it something hard to explain? Yes, it is. She says that with her voice raised nervously. A few passengers look at us. I'm sorry, let me get my thoughts together. I used to play volleyball. That's cool, but why did you stop with it? There was an incident. Devin, look, you see that bookshop? What about it? Well, I like to buy books there. Yeah. I might check it out if you say it's good. Maybe I'll find something worth talking about. That's not... I mean, if you want to discuss literature, then I'm sure all the club members are eager to listen. Yeah, I guess I could finish a book for when school starts again. I say I could, not that I want to. You don't have to wait that long. We're gonna have another meeting in the near future, I'm sure of it. What do you... Oh, I have to get off here. It was nice talking to you. See you next time, I guess. Farewell, Devin. So that's the end of that little first, meeting with Yuri. Let's try and get another one. I get off the bus and start walking to the shop. If it's anything like Natsuki where she couldn't go the next day, I hope it's not the case because everything's going to turn back around. So I really hope that's not the case. I hope she doesn't leave right after, for the first meeting. Luckily, I've got enough time to keep a comfortable pace and think about today's events. Even the way Yuri said goodbye conveys elegance. Man, I'm starting to feel the need to grab a firm book and do some thorough discussing. Can I actually get into the habit of reading? Devin, don't! It's a trap! I'm just kidding. I love reading. Worst case scenario is that I get some experience outside my comfort zone. It's worth a try at least. It's not like I would do it just to impress Yuri. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. There are a few other girls as well. I think I made an okay impression on them. Maybe I can even get to know them. Maybe I can even get to know them better. Who knows? Sayori, the Sundle of Bunch. The Sundle of Bunch. Is that a purposely? Was that on purpose? You can't possibly type that in an accident. Natsuki, who looks as cute as her cupcakes. Monica, who's completely out of my league. I think. Daydreaming aside, I have to figure out what kind of book I'd be actually willing to read. This is recording, right? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. It's a brand new day. Not really. It's just Tuesday, but it can still be a good one. I woke up quite late today because I stayed up hours past midnight. So I sometimes find it easier to concentrate in this. I'm sorry. I just sneezed everywhere. In the silent solitude of the night. With my cup of coffee, I lean on the windowsill and get lost in my thoughts. I told Mom that I was thinking about visiting the bookstore Yuri had told me about yesterday. She seemed really happy for me and gave me some cash so I could go buy a book or two, even though I didn't even say for sure what I was going to buy, if anything. Could they have something that's nearly as interesting as a game I would play? And there goes the phone. You can't possibly have a YouTube video without your phone going off in the background. Well, not for you guys, for me. I mean, if not even a half-page long official letter could keep my attention, how would hundreds of pages do so? Still unsure of going to a bookstore on my own, I decided to look through the books our family has in hopes of finding something of interest. Here's one. This isn't a book. It's some black plastic box with a bit of... Is my phone ringing again? Are you freaking kidding me? I swear to God. It's some black plastic box with a bit of shiny tape sticking out. Why does this thing have such a fancy cover? Weird. That's a new record. 2 phone calls, one right after the other. That's crazy. I give up. We don't have any cool books at home. Might as well just go to the bookstore, I guess. Maybe I can ask someone who works there to give me suggestions. Let's just get this over with. All dressed up, I checked to see if I got everything I need before leaving. I board a bus that takes me to the bookstore Yuri pointed out to yesterday. The bus had quite a few people on it, and the number only kept increasing as we neared the city center. Something's cold and wet on my seat. That's not okay. Luckily, I don't have an issue with crowded spaces. However, all this traveling feels like such a nuisance if I compare it to some of the open world games I played. In those worlds, you don't need to walk or take buses, and the only thing you can do is stare at the window and get lost in your thoughts. At least that's what I do all the time. The only other two activities I see people doing are chatting with each other and mashing their smartphones. So true. As I'm looking out the window, the bus stops next to a playground we often visited back when Sayori and I were kids. We were so easily entertained with the little games we played outside. My parents still like to remind me of all the silly things we said and believed about the world. For example, there was this creepy old man who sometimes sat on one of the benches at the playground. Always, I accidentally skipped that. Always the same one, too. The two of us theorized why he's sitting there silently by himself, but neither of us had the courage to ever ask him ourselves. Looking back, there are plenty of reasonable explanations I can think of. For all we know, he might have just liked reminiscing over the memories of his own children playing there, just like we did. The bus moves forward, and we pass the abandoned building next to the playground. Its entrance is closed off with police tape, and the windows are either boarded up from the inside or old drapes are blocking the view. It's been out of use for as far back as I can remember. The police tape suggests that it became a scene of a crime. We really were naive back then, being afraid of an old man who never even looked at us the wrong way, yet not even acknowledging the things that could have happened in a place like that building. Come to think of it, that reminds me of what Yuri asked about regarding the horror game I played. Maybe there's a lot of stuff I didn't notice in the games I played until now. Maybe some of the twists weren't as unpredictable as I thought they were during my first, most often only, time playing through them. Maybe this is making my head hurt. I'm probably overthinking things again. I get off the bus and make my way to the bookstore. My freaking headphones are so short, and the cord is so short that it keeps clipping on my chair. It's so annoying. I can't recall the last time I came here that wasn't for the sole purpose of buying a gift for someone else. My first instinct guides me to look for manga. Unfortunately, their selection was very limited. Oh my god, stop right-clicking! Looking over all of them, I see that only two that interest me are the ones I already own and read. Or read. I give up on the section soon after realizing this. Good thing they have labels indicating the contents of each section. Otherwise, I could end up looking at a romance novel and find out it's actually some psychological horror story. But hey, that's completely Yuri's thing. I wonder, what kind of books have fighting, shootouts, or other epic clashes? I'm reminded of a game I played recently where I assumed the role of a detective that got to bash guys with lead pipes. Maybe a detective novel then? Walking over to the appropriate section, I start browsing. Basically, I'm looking at the covers and reading a few sentences from the back of each book. This isn't working out for me. It would be so much easier if they listed the kinds of things that would happen in them, like how they show bits and scenes in the movie trailers. As I'm walking out, I find myself in the horror/thriller section. Hopefully I can find some action around there. As I turn the corner of the next row of shelves, I spot a dark-haired girl turning away from me, seemingly sorting through the books. She takes one down and returns after glancing at it for a few moments. As she's putting them back, she's arranging them in different order as well. Maybe she works here, in which case she might help me find a book if I ask nicely. Hello, excuse me, miss. The lack of response surprises me. Perhaps she's listening to the music and I was too quiet? I edge closer and reach out my hand to touch her shoulder in case she still can't hear me. Hello, sorry. Just as I'm about to tap on her shoulder, she suddenly turns around and bumps into my extended arm. Ah! The three thesor. Okay, I couldn't freaking read this word in 3rd grade. I can't read it now. So whatever. Looking books bounce briskly on the floor as Yuri drops everything. Definitely not the reaction I was expecting from a girl to noticing me. I'm sorry. I thought you. No, it's my fault. I should have. Don't blame yourself. I'm sorry. Saying that nearly at the same time caused both of us to blush. I wasn't expecting to see you here, Yuri. You didn't? I should have. You probably should have, honestly. If she talks about coming here all the time, she probably would have been here. She did say she likes visiting this bookstore. It's not like this is her hangout spot. Not that you should have, but so what brings you here, Devin? I'm looking for a book. Yuri pauses for a moment, probably expecting me to give a title or description. However, I don't know is none of those. Wait, may I ask which book you're looking for? I don't know. Maybe I should at least try not to sound clueless. Oh, do you have a description of the story, perhaps a genre? If you know some of its major events, that can also help finding it. Something with a lot of action, like sword fights, car chases, space battles, you know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not looking for a specific book with all those elements, are you? No. After the third shake of my head, I actually think about what you asked. All those things together sound like a pretty cool book, especially with a protagonist that isn't afraid of anything. I was about to ask where I can find a book like that, but only because I thought you worked here. I wouldn't want to keep you busy. No, you can ask me. Should I really ask her after telling her what I wanted to say? I mean, I can help you if you would so desire. Yeah, that would be great. Let me just pick up these books for you first. Don't worry, I lean down to grab one of the books. Yuri's hand touches mine momentarily when she reaches for the same book. Classic freaking romance story action or events. Like, one hand touches another hand and bam, they both fall in love. It's in every freaking romance story. She immediately recoils. I grab the other two and hand over the surprisingly heavy stack. She takes it from me with an elegant motion, but without making eye contact. Shall we go then? Sure. It almost feels like interrogation, or maybe just an interview, with all the questions she'd given me about what I'm looking for. She goes silent, descends deep into her thoughts, and suddenly walks away. After Yuri scans the array of books on the shelves, she picks one, and another one, and she comes back and walks past me. She takes a third book and finally comes back with her eyes locked on the 3 books and stops right in front of me. Let's try these on for size. One by one, she gives me a detailed explanation of what the books are about, the writer's style, the personalities of the characters, and all that jazz. So, you know so much about these. How many times did you read them? I only read one of them in its entirety. From the other 2, I read a chapter or so to get a general feel for them. But how do you know so much about these books, then? You can get a good sense of many aspects of a story from the first few chapters if it's written well. You see, there's much more unpredictability in something written so badly than with a well-crafted but formulaic piece. Is that how you pronounce? I don't know. Piece of art. Since you mentioned it, take a fighting scene for example. The protagonist may know what kind of moves to expect from a master martial artist, if he knows that specific style. However, this doesn't give him the ability to evade the skillful blows of the master. Contrary to this, with an untrained practitioner of art, there is a great degree of unpredictability. That doesn't mean you should hold your breath for something exceptional, but there's a chance for a perfectly executed move, even if it's just a slim chance. That's kind of how I try to predict where a story will go if I see that it's written well. What if there's a twist? How do you predict that? You don't. That's the point of a twist, Devin. I'm outclassed. Yuri looks past me and seems to read something off the wall. The store is closing in 10 minutes. Yeah, we should go somewhere else. Where do you want to go? I spoke without thinking again. I don't know where to take her. Tuck it in the back of my mind for now and just start walking. There's probably some nice place we can go around here. I hope. You just kind of nonchalantly walked yourself into a date, Devin. How do you feel about yourself? We leave the bookstore and start walking down the street. My eyes dart from side to side as I try to find a suitable spot to stay. Laundromat, deli, gym, dark alley. No. Yuri wordlessly walks next to me and I'm getting ready for an inevitable question. Where are we going? Devin? Where are we going? I look over at Yuri and see a weird expression on her face. I think it's starting to rain. Oh, it is. This happened last time we... I am very well aware that this part of the story already happened when Natsuki was not here the second day. But I'm trying my best to kind of like scroll through this to get to the second part where we haven't seen it yet. So I apologize if this video is just more of what we've already seen. But you know, I'm still probably gonna post it anyway because I'm trying to whether I reread things or not, like it's still part of the story. You know what I mean? Within a minute, it wasn't just raining; it was storming. Water is falling like it's being poured from 1,000 buckets at the same time. Even though we barely knew each other, I can see that we had the same thought racing in our heads. We have to find a roof over our head now. I spot a small diner-like store and motion Yuri to enter while I hold the door open for her. What a gentleman. We are looking out the window to watch all the havoc we avoided by coming in here. I can only hope that it won't last for too long. Not that I can complain with the company I get to keep, but I'm not sure if it's reciprocated yet. We might as well check what they have on the menu, seeing that the storm shows no sign of stopping anytime soon. After saying hello to the only employee we see, I check the blackboard that has a limited menu written on it and with white and colored chalk. Oh, my favorite tea's on the menu. Which one is it? Oolong tea. We can get a jug for the price of 2 cups. That's sure to set the mood, if that's okay with you, of course. Sounds good to me. We settle at one of the tables and I pour tea for both of us. It tastes like it tastes strange at first. It could be because I don't drink tea often, or it's just an unusual kind anyway. Yuri looks out the window and traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. I like storms. What do you like about them? It's the sound of thunder and millions of raindrops crashing down on the ground, eventually forming into puddles and tiny streams on the man-made concrete surfaces. It reminds me of how we are inevitably part of something greater than us, nature, whether we like it or not. So what's on your mind, Devin? We have 2 remaining choices. We live in a society, ... What do you do in your free time, or do you like traveling? What happened last time when we asked this? I have no idea. We live in a society. I want to say something deep and insightful that she can relate to, so I dig deep in my mind to search for a topic. I find a kernel of a thought and latch onto it in hopes of finding a coherent train of thought. We live in a society. I let out a sigh. The train of thought got cancelled and I'm left in the station of pseudo-intellectualism. I don't even know what that word means. I just heard it somewhere and thought it sounded smart. Yuri looks at me, expecting some more words to come out of my dumb mouth. She looks away and seems to be deep in thought. I'm looking at her and she's fiddling with her hair. She's probably wishing the rain would go away so she can finally go home and not listen to my meaningless comments. As she's occasionally sipping her tea, a good minute or 2 passes. My gaze goes from the window back to her a few times before my anxious silence pushes me to say something. What are you thinking about, Yuri? I'm sorry, I got lost in my thoughts. What you said reminded me of the societies in the book I read, some of them being radically different. How so? Stories based on medieval history show how important nobility and royalty was back then. Although they were kept in high regard, they too had their own obligations to fulfill. For example, what we think is a princess today is very different from what the fate entailed to those girls. They were trained and educated to become idle partners to their future husbands, who they often couldn't choose. Do you ever dream of becoming one? A princess? Well, I wouldn't say I dreamt about it, but a few people in my family called me that. Let's talk about you instead. Did I ever want to become a princess? Not yet, but who knows what fate has in store for me. Indeed, we can't foresee what fate will give us or take from us, unfortunately. She looks away and her amused smile starts to waver as she finishes that sentence. Maybe she just didn't find my joke that funny. Oh, thanks, Devin. Thanks for... The Devin in the game made me feel, like I shouldn't have laughed at all. The tea is taking its effect on me. I'll be back in a few minutes. Who? Just going to the toilet. Oh, okay, sorry. After asking an employee for directions, you must be towards the door in the back. I'm glad the prices are cheap, but it shows on the quality of their men's room as well. That's funny. The whole thing's about as big as a mom's closet. While doing my business and trying to be quiet, I'm assessing the situation I got myself into. What even is this? Is this what people call romantic? Aren't I supposed to feel something special? I'm just feeling weird about being alone with a pretty girl like Yuri. It's a good thing she can't read my mind, or anyone for that matter. After washing my hands, I go back to the girl with the nicely fitting sweater. She's looking out the window at the streets covered in rainwater. I sit in front of her. She gives me a modest smile and I pour myself the rest of the tea. Do you like traveling? Hey Yuri, yeah? This might sound a little bit out of the blue, but do you like traveling? She lets out a barely audible sigh before giving her answer. I used to like it. She didn't give any further explanation. Is she trying to sound mysterious intentionally? So you don't like traveling anymore? I do, but I have some personal reasons for not liking it in general. Although, if given the opportunity to have a suitable company, and a destination that's to my liking, I wouldn't hesitate to embark on a new journey. Where would you like to go? Well, I didn't think about that, to be honest. I feel like visiting memorable locations of my childhood could be nice. Even something as simple as visiting a place in our city that I haven't seen in a long time could be interesting. Exploring new territories could work as well if I felt like I was in the right Her voice trails off at the end of her sentence, and her lips curve into a modest smile. I can't tell for certain with these lighting conditions, but I think she's blushing. How about you? I guess I'm kind of with you with liking it and not at the same time. I love going to new cool places, but dislike all the hassle of getting there. I know. We're supposed to enjoy the journey, but I haven't traveled a lot without my family there. There's a limit to the amount of dad jokes one can take. Can you tell me one? Oh, I remember this. She like completely ruins the jokes. Like the dad joke's supposed to be funny, and then she's like trying to explain them all, and then a dad joke. I don't know. It's a silly request, but yeah, she ruins them. Thanks, Yuri. Don't worry about it. I'm just as surprised somebody would voluntarily wants to listen to me. Give me a sec. I'll think of one. I'm focusing on the feeling of cringing in an attempt to find an example of fatherly humor. Here's one. Why did the chicken cross the road? Why? To get to the other side. She gives me a meek smile, which is to be expected from a stupid joke like this one. Still, it's like her thoughts went off somewhere else yet again. I've heard this one so many times, I couldn't count. What do they mean by the other side? The other side of the road, what else? Oh, it's just me then. What do you think it means? I hope you don't think I'm weird for it. Don't worry, I'm sure it's nothing too bad. You see, the other side is also a euphemism for the underworld, the realm of spirits. Oh, so you basically mean the chicken wanted to kill himself. With that in mind, the chicken might have attempted to cross the highway and attempt to end its... Yeah, exactly my point. I don't remember this far back, but apparently I'm starting to get the idea that Yuri was trying to make. Earthly existence. Whoa, I never thought of it that way. I'm getting schooled even in jokes. What's next? She shyly grabs a controller and crushes me with a flawless victory. Fortnite Battle Royale! My pride can only take so many blows at a time. I get my best thoughts off this topic. Our table, like most of the others, has a small menu with all the drinks and meals listed. I look through it but find nothing particularly interesting. What did I expect? Scrambled Easter eggs? Easter just happened, so maybe. I joined Yuri in looking out the window. Sitting in silence together almost feels like an intimate exercise. It feels weird, but in a good way. Outside, the storm subsided into a meager trickle and rays of sunshine shoot through the newly formed gaps between the gray clouds. Oh, what's the time? Yuri let out a quiet gasp as she looks on her phone. I'm sorry, but I have to go. I didn't inform my mother about going somewhere else after the library. It's not that late. Do you think she's already worried? She could be. Nonetheless, I'd like to thank you for this little adventure. It doesn't have to end here. Yuri looks at me like I said something wrong. I mean, I've got nothing better to do and might as well walk you home. Walk me home? Yeah, you know. We could chat on the way. You're in a hurry. I'm not. It works out, see? Indeed. We leave the dinner after returning our cups and jug. Since the rain is still trickling, we quickly made our way to the nearest bus stop and wait under the shelter's roof. Like yesterday, we are lucky enough to find 2 seats available. We sit side by side. A conversation develops, although it's a bit one-sided. The next day, he wakes up and forgets everything that happened between him and his childhood friend. I don't get it. That sounds like Doki Doki. I think I said that last time too. So it's like he has amnesia from the shock of seeing this girl die in such a gruesome way, not being able to say it. That sounds like Doki Doki. The events doesn't stop there. In fact, all his friends die in shocking ways as the days progress. Doki Doki! The reader is led to believe one of the leading characters behind it all, but even in the end, she dies. Doki Doki! So, then if nothing happens, the protagonist returns to his daily routine. The story comes to a very somber ending as he enters a room wherein he had so many fun conversations with his friends. He finds a sheet of paper with a poem written on it. It was a heartfelt goodbye from his forgotten friends, urging him to move on. I think the message is, Yuri continues to ramble about the story. She's so engrossed in dissecting it, I can't bring myself to stop her. I guess I'll wait it out. After what felt like a half hour, she looks out the window and says hurriedly, "Oh, sorry, I got lost in my thoughts and almost missed my stop." Jeez, Yuri. Oh, hey, look, it's Yuri's house from New Eyes. I think I said this last time too. But yeah, no, this is the picture that you see in New Eyes as well. We get off the bus and start walking. After rambling on without stopping, she decided to stay silent now. Is she ashamed of being inconsiderate about my disinterest earlier? Is she trying to make me feel ashamed for her? I don't even know. Walking side by side, this feels this is starting to feel a bit awkward, so I decided to break the silence. Does that happen often to you? What do you mean? Well, you ramble. Oh, sorry. To a degree, yes. You see, literature is my passion. And although I'm part of the literature club, I don't really get opportunities to discuss it with other people. Even my friends told me a couple of times I take it way too seriously. But to be honest, going in depth about books is one of my guilty pleasures. One of her guilty pleasures. She doesn't continue, but I don't want to prod her for her answers, since it sounds like more of a personal topic. I know I wouldn't like it if somebody started asking questions about my guilty pleasures, like playing Fortnite Battle Royale or frickin' like all these other weird games that people aren't really into, but you are. The conversation would turn awkward as soon as I had to explain what a waifu is. So basically anime shit. Oh, like reading manga and watching anime and stuff like that. That's what he's talking about. We walk the rest of the way in silence. The setting sun elevates my mood. Yuri's phone buzz is on the way. She reads a short text message, smiles brightly, then starts tapping away at the screen. Did you read something funny? Oh, no, it was just Monica. She informed me that they're having another meeting in the same place tomorrow. I might attend, too. That sounds like fun. I agree. She suddenly stops in front of me in one of the houses and stirs to me. Thank you for walking me home, Devin. Don't mention it. Thanks for helping me out in the library. Wait, did we leave without buying a book? Yep, I just realized that too. I guess we did, yeah. She lets out a disappointed sigh and averts her gaze. Well, I hope my suggestions were useful. Goodbye, Devin. While I say goodbye, she turns her head on her heel and walks towards, she turns on her head? What the hell did I say that for? She turns on her heel and walks towards the entrance of her house. Without looking back, she wordlessly enters. I don't know if I should have expected anything else from walking home a girl. That's funny. And it's Wednesday. And if I'm correct, this is going to be the guy screaming again, huh? Yep, that's the big yawn. It's Wednesday, my dudes. I climb out of the bed and drag myself to the bathroom. Water comes out of the toilet and the faucet in the shower. No surprise there. They don't do it on their own. Only on my command as I go through my morning routine. Coming back to my den, I notice one of the books sticking out of the shelf. I take it in my hand and examine it over. The cover. I recall how pleasantly surprised I was when I found how exciting the story is, despite the modest cover. I place it back on the shelf neatly. Recalling yesterday's events, I remember Yuri telling me about their meeting today. Would it be okay if I joined them? I asked Sayori's number, so I'll text her and ask her about it, just so I'm not coming unannounced. Yo, Sayori! I heard you were having a meeting today as well. Would it be fun if I joined you all again? Her reply arrives a minute later. Yeah! See you at the same park, Devin. Sorry, you know I had to. Well, at least one of them doesn't mind me being there. It's a good start, I guess. I wonder what the other girls would be like. Maybe Monica will have another game in mind. Maybe Natsuki made cupcakes again. Maybe there'll be some left for me. Maybe Yuri, has nicer clothes on. What do you mean nicer clothes on? She looked fine the way she was. Might as well go find out. Yeah, the girls are not only still in the park when I arrive, but are also in the same location. Hey, everyone. Hi. Oh, it's you again. Hi, Devin. Can't say I'm surprised to see you again. Sayori told me you're joining us. But I had a hunch even before that. How so? No reason. Man, am I really this predictable? Uh-huh. You're very readable, if you know what I mean. Monica, do you know where Sayori is? I mean, where Yuri is? She sent me a message in the morning. She said she's gonna be away with her mom. Come on! I knew this was gonna happen. Come on. That's so annoying. I really wish that they wouldn't leave the second day after impressing them the first. Okay. Well, I believe she also said she wanted to talk some things over with her. I bet as we speak, she's going on about the latest horror story she read, and her mom just stuck with her, and as she rambles on. That's not like me yesterday. At least the new weirdo is not as talkative, so it's easier to put up with him. You have a boy in the club. Not as smart either. Now I get it. Maybe it's better just to listen before I dig myself into a deeper hole. I kind of like listening to Yuri. How her slow and soft voice is so calming. It actually made me fall asleep a few times. Might be a bad thing, Sayori. I thought it was a bit surprising when I woke up and she wasn't there anymore. I love that. I noticed her not going missing a couple times too. You don't suppose the rumors are true about her, you know? Or do you? Huh? You mean the thing about collecting her pens? Yeah, that. No, dummy, you're mixing two different rumors. I remember hearing rumors about a weird girl messing around the girls' restroom, and something about pens being involved. Could they have been talking about Yuri? Was it entirely made up? I don't want to think about what she might have been doing and what that got people talking. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with collecting items. Yeah, just collecting certain items isn't a big deal, but they say she's doing more than that. I don't know, Natsuki. They're probably just malicious rumors. But whenever I tried talking about it with her, she was very dismissive. What are those rumors? Am I supposed to know this? I'm lost. It's probably nothing, Sayori. Devin, do you have any obligations to tend to at the moment? Because in the case you don't, could you stay a little longer than you did on Monday? Thinking it over for a moment, I really can't say that I have something better to do. Or someone. Oh, that sounded really terrible. I guess I could stay. Wonderful. Wait, stay a while and listen. You might identify a topic that gets you interested in reading a book or even a tome. I have a feeling that even if one of them sat by my side and guided me through an entire book, the words of the pages wouldn't keep my attention from drifting off. Especially not if they talk about those printed words. But hey, change my mind. Monica and Natsuki start laying their plans out for the summer, visiting places, doing things together. A lot of girly stuff that's just boring to listen to. I look at the park with a blank expression and soon all the chatter just fades into the background. Suddenly, I'm jolted back to the reality of the dog's barking as it runs past me. I turn around and I see it, and I spot Sayori playing around with a brown fur ball. I notice a lively but distinctively calm temper. Just sitting on the ground. I just came home from school, so like I'm wicked brain dead. So if I can't read, I'm so sorry. I'm just like wicked out of it right now. I'm tired. I want to rest. Just sitting on the ground looking with my curious puppy eyes at all the people around. I want to go there and ruffle that scruffy hair. The dog is cute too, I guess. He wants to ruffle Sayori's hair. That's what he wants. Hey, am I allowed to give a pat on the head? Huh? Sure. She's very open and friendly. I lean down and pat her head lightly. What are you doing? I'm not a dog. But I get why they like it so much. You two seem to be in tune with each other. Did it say anything nice? Did it say anything nice to you? Nice knife? Oh God! I did it again. Instead of freaking nose, I said news, and instead of freaking nice, I said knife. Oh God, that was terrible. I'm so sorry for that. Woof woof. But I'm paraphrasing. She gets a chuckle out of me. For as long as I've known her, she's always had that ability, regardless of how upset I was. I remember this one time when she was over at her house, and I asked her what's the time. We had an old radio in the living room back then. She read the display and it said, it's 76.2 FM. I couldn't talk because I was laughing so hard. I teased her for at least a week with it, but she figured out it stops being funny when she looks at me with sad puppy eyes. Devin, did you think I could ask my parents for a dog? They're like the perfect companions. I would walk him, feed him, teach him tricks, cuddle with him, and walk him. That's a pretty big responsibility, you know. Besides, what happened to your cat? You mean Muffin? Well, he just left out of my window one day and never came back. Never saw him anywhere in the city. Do you think he could have started a new life with a new identity? Maybe he got into trouble with a local cat gang. Maybe he was secretly a cat burglar cat and roamed the city burglaring burglaries. There are no cat gangs, Sayori. Just because you haven't seen them doesn't mean they don't exist. Cats are very sneaky, you know. While we were arguing about the possibility of a felon crime syndicate, the little dog rushes away. Clearly, our subject was appalling. Wait, that was a pun. I hate that. Wait, this petting isn't done yet. Sayori starts running after her new four-legged friend, but gives up when she notices it's running back to its owner, an older man. Monica and Sayori change the subject to some book I haven't heard about. Until they bring up something that was assigned us in school or a story with the movie adaptation, I'm stuck with listening. Meanwhile, Natsuki fumbles around with her little bag and pulls out a cookie that's almost twice the size of her little hand. It's even bigger than my hand. The plastic wrapping makes loud, crunchy sounds as she rips it open and folds it back to start nibbling on it. Just before she takes his first bite, she notices me eyeing a cookie. Why are you looking at me? Oh, sorry, I just spaced out I'm looking at your cookie. By the way, is that a cookie? Is that a chocolate chip cookie you have there? Cookie? Yep, it's fresh too. That sounds cookie delicious. It's actually my favorite. Cookie. Mom used to make it all the time when I was still a little kid. Yeah, my mom too. She was great at all things cooking and baking. That must be great. Yeah, it was. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to eat. Cookie. Cookie! Okay. The disappointment in my tone was probably a bit too obvious. I wanted the cookie. It would be rude for me to ask directly, but I'd love to take a bite of her cookie. Just by looking, I can almost feel the sweet flavor filling my mouth. Mmm, cookie. Well, if it is your favorite, I guess we can share it this one time. It's not like we're going to meet much after this anyway. You mean it? Well, I don't know if there'll be any more meetings this summer. Cookie! I mean sharing. Yeah, here's your piece. Now let me enjoy mine. Cookie! Thank you, Natsuki. Sorry, I keep saying cookie. It's getting old. You're welcome. Now shut up and let's eat. It's even better than I imagined it would be. Keeping a slow pace is proving to be a challenge, as the desire to have it all to myself is beating down on me. Licking my finger, I almost get a sensual feeling. I'm jolted back to the reality after I realize Natsuki's giving me a weird look. I feel pretty stupid. It was just her cookie, after all. I finished with the conversation. Monica comes up with me with the same confidence everyone matters for her for. Devin, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? As long as you're not trying to sell me something, I'm an open book. It's not like that, don't worry. She hides like a freaking Tide box behind her. It's like, oh no, I wasn't selling you anything. It's not like that, don't worry. Do you remember the school festival? Yeah, it was okay. I didn't see you at a close presentation, which isn't surprising given the numbers of attendance we had. That's actually related to what I want to ask you about. Seeing as you're an outsider, what's the impression you have of the club? the first thought that comes to mind is it's full of cute girls from what I've seen, but I doubt that the compliment would be received well. Well, you still seem like a cool bunch to me, and I'm still not excited about reading, so there's that. But you're probably talking about before I met you all. I don't know. It just sounded like a club for people who aren't fed up with reading after all the mandatory studying. Mandatory. That's a perspective I didn't consider. People tend to dislike things that are forced upon them, even if it's in their own best interest, don't they? I should really learn that lesson. You of all people. You seem like more of a kind-hearted leader carrying all of her club members on her hand than a boss. I'm glad you view me that way. I'm just afraid I would abuse my power if I'm pushed to the edge, you know? Gee, like I haven't done that somewhere before. But I probably couldn't do much harm, right? I'm just an innocent little high school girl, right? Totally! That's the lie of the day. Yeah. That's funny. Maybe I just don't know her well enough yet, but there's something unusual about Monica putting herself down like that. Anyways, thanks for the input. Don't mention it. Okay, everyone. How about we play an acronym game once more? I'm going to save it here for now, just because we're 37 minutes in, and we have, like, no time left. So, guys, welcome back to summertime. I don't know if it's going to be... I think it's going to be... it's going to be a lot more often lately as of right now, because there hasn't been a new update yet for Beyond You yet, so I can't upload any more of that right now. And it used to be Beyond You, and then not Doki Doki, then Beyond You again, then not Doki Doki, and it goes back and forth. But since there's no Beyond You videos I can make right now, I think this is going to take its spot for the time being. So you're definitely going to see a lot more summertime videos as well as the not Doki Doki. It's going to be a Doki Doki fest again, which again, I'm not a freaking Doki Doki channel. I know I say this all the time, but I can't express it enough. I play other things. It's just there's nothing else to play at the moment. So it's like... there's nothing else to play but Doki Doki. And if I could record other things, I would. But, you know, recently, there's a few games that I've stopped playing. And I really don't feel like going back to them anytime soon. And there's just nothing else to play. Everything else is just boring. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of the gist on that. But, Doki Doki. it's perfect. But right now I am going to leave it here. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. I'd love it to the channel. Guys, we've got a Discord. Come check me out outside of YouTube. It's going to be a fun time for all. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Hope you guys in my next one. Goodbye!